The average American has not one, not two, but 10 different credit cards with an average of an $8,000 credit limit. Now that can be impossible to manage. Census workers face a unique challenge in finding and interviewing the homeless. And once they do, the news isn't good. Last year, there were about 12,000 homeless in the DC area, a slight increase from the previous year. This year, that number is expected to rise because of the sluggish economy. President Obama's $3.8 trillion federal budget includes $100 billion in spending for a jobs bill. The budget would freeze a few current existing programs, tax the banks and the wealthy to reduce the deficit. Republicans argue that the budget will cause economic stagnation. For the past 75 years, DC parking meters have taken coins only. Today, they're also taking credit cards. And many drivers are welcoming this new method of payment, and some are saying, who carries coins anymore? Washington's Metro rail system is still recovering from last summer's crash, killing 9 people and injuring at least 76. More than 8 months later, there's no answer on what caused the accident, and most passengers are still concerned about their safety.
It's pretty appalling that a crash of that kind of magnitude could occur.
I have confidence that they'll take care of those issues and that ridership and safety will react accordingly.
I mean, obviously, the system has been degenerating. I mean, when you got to get stories about how many people died this month, it ought to be taken very seriously.
I think one of the big issues is just a lack of funding, which I know they recently raised fares, but until they get more money, I don't really know what they can do.
Metro General Manager John Cato and other top officials have resigned. The system has a $3 billion budget for daily operations, but critics say that's not enough to improve safety.
One of the issues that seems to be key here for me is the culture of safety throughout our organization. I believe that needs to change.
What's needed is a stronger regulatory oversight over these agencies, so the kind of mishaps, the lack of policies, the lack of procedures, the lack of supervision that occurred at Metro that resulted in the tragic June crash will not occur again.
4 senators have introduced legislation calling for federal jurisdiction of all mass transit rail safety. Other senators wrote to board chairman Peter Benjamin threatening a federal takeover of the system if Metro doesn't solve its own problems. Despite all this controversy, Benjamin still believes Metro riders are confident in the system.
I would say the best measure of how our passengers feel about our service is, are they continue riding? And they are continuing to ride.
Commuters may feel safe riding the Metro, but with last year's crash and multiple derailings, the system could be a lot safer. At this point, no one seems to know how. At a Metro station in Washington, I'm Jim Park.
Here is my designer wallet that I bought with the credit cards.
Alicia Willis once paid her credit cards by drawing names out of a hat.
I would have a basket by the door that I would literally just drop the mail into, so that when payday came around, I would just fish in and see who got paid.
Alicia maxed out every credit card she had. In fact, most Americans are swimming in red ink.
$2,000.
$4,000.
$30,000.
$30,000 in credit card debt? It's not unusual. It's an epidemic. Last year, 1.5 million Americans threw up their hands, surrendered, and filed for bankruptcy. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling's Kathy McNally says losing debt is a lot like losing weight.
Writing down how you spend your money is often how you start getting control of it. Just as on a diet, you write down everything you eat, and you hide that list because you're so embarrassed by how much you ingest.
Going on a debt diet may be that much harder now that Congress passed legislation making it tougher to declare bankruptcy, which means if you owe card companies, they won't let you off easy.
So they just kept coming after me and after me.
One credit card led to another and to another and another.
The average American has not one, not two, but 10 different credit cards with an average of an $8,000 credit limit. Now that can be impossible to manage.
Giving me a credit card was like taking an alcoholic to a bar. If I think that I have $500 on this credit card, at least I won't spend $500, but you can best believe I will spend $475.
In Washington, I'm Jim Park reporting.